Hi everyone, it's Gene Calderon here with Gene Calderon Apologetics Ministries, coming to you with another teaching video. Today being Tuesday, we are going to focus on what we like to call Tuesday equals Truth Day. And this is the day that we look at the Gospels to see whether or not they are truthful, verifiably accurate, if we can actually trust what we are reading when it comes to the New Testament. And so this week, what we wanted to do is look at the idea of how do they compare to other ancient manuscripts? Because knowing that there are many manuscripts of the New Testament, we have to ask ourselves, how does that compare with other ancient manuscripts during the time of Jesus, and whether or not we can call them as being reliable and accepted by scholars? One of the things we'll look at is when we look at some of the Roman ancient documents that we have. There was a historian who was known as Tacitus, and he wrote a book known as the Annals of the Imperial Rome. And this was written about 116 AD. His first six books, they still exist today, but they only exist in one manuscript that was copied from about 850 AD. We notice that there's a long gap between when the original was written down to the time where we get to the earliest copy, the earliest surviving copy that we still have today. From 116 AD to 850 AD, that is a long gap between the time that Tacitus looked up the information, wrote it all down for us, and it only exists in that copy, where there's a gap of about 730 years plus. And then we look at Josephus. Josephus is a Jewish historian who was writing for the Greeks and who was writing for the Romans. And we have 9 of his manuscripts known as the Jewish War. And they were written in the 10th, 11th, and 12th century. So even these are a little bit later. When we compare these with the amount of New Testament Greek manuscripts that we have today that are still in existence, we actually have more than 5,000 that are cataloged. And next to the New Testament, the greatest amount of manuscript testimony that we can find is in something known as Homer's Iliad, which there are about 650 Greek manuscripts today. See, when we see these amazing numbers that are actually in support of the New Testament, we're going to begin to see how close they are to the originals that we can possibly get when it comes to time. And so we're going to look at that a little bit, but the amount of copies that we have is very valuable to be able to compare and contrast. Many people say, well, don't you know the Bible has been changed? Well, we can look at the earliest manuscripts that we have compared to the latest manuscripts that we have, make that comparison and see if anything's been changed. If it has, how has it been changed? And on it goes. But then the other thing is, how close to the original can we get? And in both these cases, as you'll see, the New Testament far surpasses any of the other ancient manuscripts that we actually know about. So take that into consideration while we're reading the New Testament. We have abundance of evidence. We have plenty of copies to be able to compare and to contrast, to be able to best decipher what the original most likely said. Many historians do this with many other ancient documents, which are considered reliable and accurate. There's no reason why we can't do this with the New Testament. So stay tuned. We'll continue this next week when we look at the time gaps between the amount of copies that we actually have for the New Testament, as well as many other ancient writings that people still consider to be reliable. So thank you so much for watching. And hey, if you'd like to consider supporting a missionary, that's what I am with Ratio Christi at Purdue University Northwest. I still serve at my home church at Freedom Church East Chicago, doing a lot of online stuff, so you can go back and rewatch or watch for the first time some previous studies, Bible studies. And again, anytime that you may have a question, comment, thought, or idea, feel free to post that, and we will be able to answer some reasonable questions or some reasonable challenge anytime to be able to better equip you to defend your faith and know why we believe what we believe. God bless you. Thanks so much for watching.